Okay, hello, this is Jay Rote, and welcome to my final sustainability model and explanation project. I chose to build a SimCity. SimCity, just to give you a little bit of background, it's a city building simulation game. It's developed by Electronic Arts. It's for mobile devices. I know they have a computer version, but I'm using the mobile device on my phone. So the main objective of the game is the player is the mayor, and they are tasked with designing and building, and of course managing their own virtual city. So just a couple key features. We'll go over all of the features so you fully understand the game and what I built and why I built it. You start with a small plot of land and you gradually expand the city. So I've constructed, residential buildings like these, and of course designed the layout. And the whole name of the game is managing these resources made in these factories, which we'll, of course, cover later. So the whole name of the game is to keep your Sim citizens happy. Oh, just got another resource from my city storage. Again, we'll go over that in a little bit. So the main metric for this game is the happiness meter. So go ahead and collect my taxes. But the more happy your citizens are, the more taxes you get. So, for example, my citizens are 100% on the happiness meter, not to brag, but so I get the full amount of taxes from my Sim citizens. Sorry, my dog's in the background. Pug and their nasal issues. Then, of course, you can compete in leagues with mayor challenges and stuff like that, but that really doesn't apply to what we're doing here, except to, of course, gather more resources to expand the city. So to end the overview of the game, this is a free game, no subscription, nothing like that, but of course you can opt to pay for things like more money and stuff like that, which may have done to create this city, But overall, this was really fun. I really like this, and I hope you do this for future classes. So let's just jump right. So I'll try and make this as brief as possible, but so first we start with our roads, which of course is a big factor in keeping a sustainable city. Places that are highlighted in yellow, this just popped up. I had all my roads upgraded before making this part of the video, but the parts in yellow indicate roads that need to be reconstructed in order to minimize traffic and, of course, gas consumption, carbon emissions, all that stuff. The yellow is more of just a suggestion, and the red, you will actually have citizens move out because they're so angry with the traffic. The roads, I could have maybe done a little bit better on, but I just figured this would be the most direct path to our shops down here. Here's our shop strip, and of course the houses, parks, emergency services, stuff like that. So overall, pretty good roads. Of course, like the happiness meter is at 100 still, but in the future, if I keep playing this after this project, I will need to upgrade these roads. Okay, so next is our residential areas. As you can see, there's many options, all sorts of different zones, but of course some of them tend to not house as many citizens, so I really just stick with the regular residential zones. But the way you upgrade these is you make resources in these factories that we'll get to later, and you gather enough resources to upgrade them. So I don't have enough resources right now, but if I were, I would get 52 more citizens and a few more dollars to spend on things around the city. There are also zones that are higher in land value because of some other things that we'll talk about next, such as parks, schools, casinos, entertainment centers, and even cultural centers. So, and then of course here's another indicator of the value of homes. Some of these more luxurious homes are by, again, the parks, the universities, the casinos, and then some of these other ones really just don't have anything next to them yet. So next we'll be moving on to the shops. As you can see, this is where I keep all of my shops. Anything from a building supply store to gardening supplies. As I talked about in the residential part, these are where I get more resources from the factories. So the factories produce the base materials, And this is where I take those base materials and turn them into, let's say, corn, watermelon, nails, lumber, planks, and they produce no pollution. So, okay, so next are factories. Just going to start out by saying that the factories produce no pollution whatsoever. I have all nanotech factories. This is the only option in SimCity that does not produce any type of pollution. So, for example, when you first start the game, you're provided with free small factories, but this produces a massive pollution radius. So, of course, they kind of, the factories, they go up in price and lower by pollution radius, but I just went ahead and saved up for the nanotech factories that do not produce any sort of smog, anything like that, and really could be placed next to any residential buildings without affecting that happiness meter. So as mentioned in the shop section, these materials are the basic materials that you can take these and use at some of our shops. So for example, nails take 2 pieces of metal, planks take 2 pieces of wood, and so on and so forth. And even some places like the furniture store, they require some materials that from other shops that were made from those basic materials. Okay, now on to the meat of this project, the services. So first we'll start with the power services. There's all sorts of options. There's wind energy, coal energy, more wind, solar energy, oil, nuclear, and fusion. I was not able to save up enough money for the fusion power plant, but I went with the second best option I felt, and I am utilizing all solar energy. So all of these residential areas that you see here are powered by purely solar energy. As I build more residential areas, I'll need to buy more power plants, but for right now, as you can see up at the top, the band, I only have 92 residential spaces that need powered, but I can power up to 105 with these 3 solar. Okay, and after that, we'll move on to water. Really nothing too special about the water, just basic water pumping stations. These also produce no pollution. They're basic options that really only serve, as you can see, 9. But I opted for, of course, the bigger facilities to save space and honestly save a little bit of money. Okay, moving right along to our sewage options. Don't have as many options as, say, the power options, but there are some more cost-effective options that produce quite a bit of pollution, make the citizens not near as happy, such as this one. Serves a lot of people, but a little bit pricey, and of course that pollution radius is huge. So I've opted for the no pollution deluxe sewage treatment plant. These both serve 55 customers, adding up to 110, so I could build a few more places and still have everybody be served. And I'm not sure if I mentioned this with the other services, but if I were to build, say, that 111th residential area, the happiness meter would go down, people would abandon the buildings, and that 111th building would be basically useless. So, next is our waste management. I'm really proud of this one in particular, just as the other ones, small, medium, large, with even bigger pollution radiuses on those. But I've invested in, number one, a huge recycling center. So all waste generated from these residential areas is taken to this recycling center for, number one, zero pollution, and so that their materials can be recycled and added back into the city. Another facility that I have implemented is the Biodome waste facility. I actually got this in one of the mayor's contests that I mentioned briefly that really doesn't matter for this project, but I earned enough points for this, and it serves 80 of our residential areas, and it's also pollution free, so that was really nice. Okay, we'll briefly go over some of these emergency services. They're not really a huge part of this project, but I did place them with a sustainable design in mind. So we have fire services, police services, and health services all spread out, but still semi-close in proximity to all the residential areas. This is to reduce those harmful emissions from cars so that these emergency vehicles don't have to drive as far in case of emergency, and also to, of course, meet the radius requirement for the citizens. So, for example, if I were to put this hospital over here, these residential areas would not be served by that hospital or any hospital. So, chose to put them all in the middle where they are all served. Okay, this brings us to our last section, these specializations. So there are all sorts of specializations throughout my city. I've utilized parks, landscapes, specific landscapes, education, working on getting the funds for transportation, gambling, and again, working on getting the funds for landmarks. So here are some of the parks that I've added to my city. These can be taken as green spaces or just overall just leisure places for the citizens. As you can see, they increase population a lot. Without these, we would probably have half, if less, that population that we have right now. The next specialization that I've utilized that doesn't really produce that much of a population boost as those parks, but still provide green spaces and leisure spaces for these citizens are landscapes. Right here, I have a little autumn forest for these citizens in this green space. Over here, I have an aqueduct. I got this for free in another one of those mayor passes. This seems to boost the population the most. And then over here, I have more forest. I believe this one over here is a bamboo forest, and I'm not sure what that one was, but those cover some of those green space requirements. I plan to add more over here, but again, I just did not have enough funds for those. Okay, next we'll move on to education, aka the facilities that promote sustainability for the future. This is our biggest population booster with 75,000 extra people in the city. In order to get any of these buildings like the college and university, have to have the Department of Education, so that's what that is over here. But as mentioned, I have just a community college over here, a university, which is a huge population booster, about 2/3 or more of that 75,000 number. A little library over here and a high school over here. So most of the city has access to education of some sort, except for these few buildings, but I plan to fix that by adding another university over here somewhere when I get the funds. Okay, so those were most of the specializations that I was able to afford within the time frame for this project, but some other fun features for this game are the trade depot. I can trade with other cities. I can trade other resources that I might not need. For example, I might not need 5 of these sugar and spices. I'm going to go ahead and put that on sale for another city to buy that and give me more money to improve my city. If I were to want to buy something from another city, I would just head over to this global HQ and see what is advertised. If I wanted to go ahead and buy one of these little smoothie things, just head on over to their city, their depot, give them more. Another thing very similar to this is these cargo deliveries. What's pictured up top is what I would earn for filling these deliveries. So right now I'm working on a golden key delivery to buy more specialization buildings. So I would need another chair and another plank. One thing that I haven't gotten around to building yet because it's so expensive is this airport. I'm not really sure what's in there. So overall, building this city has taught me a lot about the complexities of sustainable urban planning. Really every decision from those emergency service zonings to getting resources from the factory impacts the environment and all of these citizens' daily lives. SimCity shows us that sustainability really isn't just about solving problems, it's about planning for the future and planning to grow for the future. So thank you for joining me on this journey through my SimCity project. Hope this video inspires others to think about the role of urban planning and sustainability in creating cities for a better future.